AITA for dating my friend's therapist despite her pleading me not to. TA as I don't want to dox myself. I have a very tight-knit group of friends. We are always there for each other for all the ups and downs. I see them all as my sister and have never done anything that would affect them negatively. A few years back something really horrible happened to one of them, Susan, and she went into a downward spiral. After many shitty therapists she finally found one that worked for her and she started to slowly crawl herself out of the darkness. We were all so happy for her. I moved away to a nearby city about 5 months ago. My new home is about an hour and a half ride away from where I grew up. When all the necessities were paid for I went on an impromptu holiday to Greece when I calculated that I had some money to spare. There I met an amazing guy on my first day in a restaurant. We immediately clicked. This has never happened to me before. I initially planned a hiking type of solo holiday but we spent all 11 days together. I found out he lives in the same city that I moved to. So naturally he changed his ticket and came back with me. I told my friends about it and everyone was happy for me. Even Susan. During the holiday he did tell me he worked in the mental health field but we were too busy enjoying our time together to be talking about the specifics of work. When we returned we continued dating. We still are. Long story short, turns out he is Susan's therapist. When it finally clicked for her she told me I had to drop him. She said she was happy for me having a holiday fling, but she didn't feel comfortable that I was dating the guy that had all her confidential info and that he might even be breaking some HIPAA rules by dating me. I told her neither one of us knew and that she herself felt that he was a great therapist so why couldn't she trust that he would keep it professional. I told her that he hadn't told me anything about any of his clients and I had never asked him about it either. We were always in the moment with each other instead of worrying about who and what happened during work hours. At her next appointment she confronted him and had asked him to dump me or she would report him. He reassured her that he would never violate patients' confidentiality, but she kept harassing him for the next few appointments. He talked to me about her harassing him to dump me as it wasn't part of patients' confidentiality. He wanted to know I felt the same way about him as he did about me and if we had a future together, and I said yes. After that he recused himself from being her therapist and recommended one of his colleagues to her. Since then Susan has been on a smear campaign against me and our tight-knit group isn't so tight anymore. She didn't take him up on his recommendation and due to being out of therapy she has started to drink again and one of our friends told me she rarely bathes and other parts of her hygiene have suffered too. She has also skipped a lot of days of work and might lose her job. She isn't faking her downward spiral, but I can't go through with what she and our other friends want me to do. They say he is just a man and there are millions of men out there for me so why won't I dump him for her? It took Susan this long to find a good therapist and that it took her an hour and a half to drive to him, but she did it despite the commute to get better. According to them she might not find a good therapist closer or within that driving distance as she has exhausted all the nearby possibilities. They are telling me that I am risking her life for a holiday fling. AITA for being the hurdle in her recovery?